Sergio Perez won an extraordinarily dramatic Azerbaijan Grand Prix for Red Bull after teammate Max Verstappen lost a certain victory in a high-speed accident 5 laps in the end, and Lewis Hamilton botched a subsequent restart to ruin his own chances of success after Aston Martin's Lance Stroll had already suffered an accident when his left rear tyre suddenly let go of the barrier on Baku's long main straight. Verstappen's afternoon suffered a similarly scary conclusion on lap 46. Verstappen, who was headed for a key victory to stretch his title lead over Hamilton's 15 points when his own left rear tyre suddenly let go and Red Bull slammed into the wall on the outside. Kicking the failed tyres, he exited from his crash. Verstappen trudged away and seemed to lose all the points to Hamilton, who was now running second to Perez, but there was one extraordinary final twist to come. After the race was red flagged, all the cars returned to the pit lane while the track could be cleared. The event was eventually restarted. Hamilton, whose Mercedes brakes were smoking as they lined back up on the grid, got a better getaway than Perez, appeared set to lead into the front from turn 1, but inexplicably for a driver who makes so few mistakes, Hamilton ran straight on and dropped to 16th place and out of the points. With so little time to recover, the world champion finished 15th, ending a record races of 54 races without a point. Just on the restart, I think when Checo moved towards me, I clipped her switch and it basically switched the brakes off and I went straight, explained Hamilton. Very hard to take, but I'm mostly just really sorry to the men and women who have worked so hard for these points. But with neither title contender scoring points, Verstappen therefore retains his 4-point advantage. Perez closing out the final laps for his second career win after a strong performance all race. Aston Martin's Seb Vettel capped his own remarkable day to claim second and his first podium for his new team. The German came 5th 2 weeks ago in Monaco, had started 11th on the grid. AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly, a consistent front runner all weekend, then took third for his third podium of his career. Charles Leclerc had started on pole, but the Ferrari did not have the race pace to challenge and had quickly been overhauled by Hamilton and the two Red Bulls. He eventually secured 4th, just ahead of McLaren's Lando Norris, who had recovered well from a grid penalty and then the poor start. Fernando Alonso started 10th at the restart, but the wily Spaniard was on the move for the 2-lap dash to the flag and secured 6th place for Renault or Alpine, his best result since his F1 return. With Valtteri Bottas enduring a dismal afternoon and finishing 12th, Mercedes usually ended with no points from this weekend and slipped further behind Red Bull in the constructors' standings after Sergio Perez's incredible win. 2 weeks after a composed drive to a first victory in the title lead in Monaco, a venue where he had never previously claimed a podium, Verstappen was on course to erase his own patchy record in Baku. Although he stayed behind Leclerc and Hamilton at the start, he looked fast on his soft tyres, and following his Mercedes rival in overtaking the Ferrari positioned himself for the first pit stops. Hamilton, starting to struggle on his tyres, was called in by Mercedes first, but the team lost crucial ground in the pits when they had to hold on the car to wait for an oncoming car. Red Bull responded by pitting Verstappen a lap later, and he comfortably jumped his title rival. Perez, who ran longer than either, then also emerged ahead of Hamilton despite a slightly slower stop, growing his lead after the safety car call for Stroll's crash. Verstappen's afternoon was suddenly punctured literally as he powered down the 2-kilometre long straight to what should have been his 47th lap before he had to retire. "We've got to remember this is a marathon, not a sprint," said Hamilton over the Mercedes team radio as the field waited to leave the pits for a late restart. "We've got to be measured on how aggressive we are." These words somewhat came back to haunt Lewis Hamilton when the world champion outbraked himself into turn 1 runoff area. Although it appears an inexplicable knocking of a switch in his Mercedes cockpit proved his undoing rather than anything overly aggressive, it was all the more frustrating for the 7-time champion after Mercedes had collectively worked wonders to get themselves back at the front after struggling all through practice with a single lap pace and tyre grips. Excluding race retirements, this last of which was racked up at the Australian Grand Prix of July 2018, Hamilton finished a race outside the points in Spain 2013, his 5th race for Mercedes. Just incredible. And of course F1 will resume in 2 weeks' time at Circuit Paul Ricard for everyone's favourite race. Can't wait for that, even if it may not be the most exciting race. Before I go, here is the final race classification. Perez, Vettel, Gasly, just incredible. What performances from all of those three. And all three look like they're clicking now after a tough start to the season. Leclerc, obviously, he just didn't have the race pace today, but he will be slightly disappointed. Norris, maybe McLaren could have seen that as a missed opportunity to get another podium. But as for Alonso and Tsunoda, what great days for them. Finally getting used to the car, it seems. Sainz, I think he'll be disappointed. Ferrari just kind of missed out today, didn't have the pace. Ricciardo, you could kind of say similar. Raikkonen, good for Alfa Romeo to get more points. And Giovinazzi, I think he'll be disappointed to miss out on points. Bottas, yeah, just a dreadful day for him. He just couldn't find any pace at all. And then Schumacher and Mazepin, just usual day for Haas. This is kind of the day Haas need to get points, but still they were nowhere near. Ahead of Hamilton, we've already spoken lots about him. Latifi and Russell, Williams as well. It's the sort of day where they could have got points, but it just failed totally for them. Verstappen, spoken about him, and Stroll and Ocon. Stroll, of course, horrific crash. Thank God he's okay. And Ocon, yeah, it's disappointing for him because with Alonso in 6, he really could have been in the mix. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily F1 news, and subscribe to our channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.